Hello, in this video I'm going to be having a look at this Telefunken 900M portable VHS-C deck. It's a rebadge of a JVC machine, and that model was the HR-C3. It was also sold under the Thorn brand as the Ferguson 3V33. Now, this machine was released in 1982 and it would have been intended for use with a separate video camera which would be connected at this socket. In fact, it could be combined with the JVC GZ-S3 camera on a special frame that would turn the combination into a kind of proto camcorder that you could mount on your shoulder. So let's have a look at what's happening with it. I'll connect it to the bench power supply. I do have the supply for it, but it's packed away, and using the bench supply also lets me monitor or limit the current if needed. You can see that the original owner has kindly marked the polarity of the battery terminals, though I have checked it against an actual battery just to make sure. There's tape in, I'll just take that out. There's 12 bolts. If I turn it on, you can see it's lit up and come on. Right, so I'll press play. And I can hear a motor running. I think it's the heads, but that tape's not loading. And now I've got this flashing light on the stop button, and it won't do anything now until I turn it off and back on again. Let's open it up and then we can have a better look at what's happening. I'll connect the power supply up again and we can see what, if anything, the mechanism's doing. I'll press play. So head's spinning up. There's no movement from any of the loading mechanism. Let's see if the loading motor's actually running. No, it's not running. Right, this is a driver chip for the loading motor. It's an M45453L. Quite a commonly used chip for this purpose in 80s and 90s Japanese gear. It's got two supply inputs, 2 pins for each. One's the supply for the chip itself, and the other's what's being used to drive the motor. And there's 2 inputs and 2 outputs. That allows it to drive the motor in either direction. So you'd have, say, output A high and output B low. The motor runs one way. Output B high and output A low, the direction's reversed. And the chip supply is this 9-volt rail, and the supply that's used for the motor is the unregulated 12 volts. And they do fail sometimes, but it should be straightforward enough to test. If it's got the supplies and the correct inputs and the output's not there, then the chip's faulty. We'll check these supplies first. Pins 1 and 9 are the 9-volt supply for the chip, and pins 2 and 8 are the unregulated 12 volts for the motor. And pins 1 and 9 first. That's got the supply. Now pins 2 and 8. Nothing. Try pressing play, see if that makes any difference. I don't think it's switched it or anything. 0.93, 0.94. It drops down. Right, now I've actually just spotted something. According to the service manual, it's just a direct connection from these pins, you know, straight to the battery or the DC supply input. But there's actually this. So let's turn this off a minute. This is pin 8, goes to that, and the other side, nothing there, has CP1 circuit protector. That's CP2 as a short, CP1. It's like some resistance, whatever. It's like 80 odd K. They're like a sort of fuse. They look like a transistor, like a 2-pin transistor, but they're a fuse. But that's not listed. It's not shown in the service manual. There's no mention of it. So I'll have to open it up and see what the rating is. But just to confirm, there is 12 volts on the other side of this circuit protector. So that would be going to these pins if that circuit protector is blown. And now that I've got the machine opened up, we can have a look at this circuit protector. The marking on it is F10T. Now these codes on these circuit protectors, you multiply it by 40 to get the current rating. So that 10 has 400 milliamp circuit protector. I have got another circuit protector left over from a repair I did a while ago, but I'm not sure whether it's the right one or not. I have a feeling it might be an N15 one. But they turn up all over the place, especially in these JVC machines from 80s. They loved them, you know, and they just go for no reason sometimes. So I'll have a look and see if that one that I've got's the right one. But if not, then I'll see if I can get a suitable fuse if I've got one. Now this is quite interesting. It's one of those hybrid modules. Now there's a few of these. There's one over here. That's with surface mount ones, but this is made out of through-hole parts. It's just like a little circuit board with some through-hole components on. covered in some sort of conformal coating. You can see like capacitors here and a crystal that looks like an inductor, that maybe is as well. I just thought it's quite interesting. You often see ones with surface mount parts in them, but you don't as often see these through-hole ones, certainly not in these sort of things. Alright, so closest thing I've got is a 500 milliamp fuse. It's one of these little inline fuses. Now the original circuit protector were 400 milliamp, but it's better than 600, so I think it'll be alright. I know it's like an 100 milliamp difference, it's like an extra 25%, but it's just this motor and it's just like the unregulated supply, so I think get away with it in this instance. If it'll fit, should do. Might have to put it vertically. Yeah, no, I think it's too wide to go that way, so I'm gonna have to put it vertical. Hang on, is this the same? Yeah, I'll put it in there. Nice thick leads on that, I'll save them, come in handy. Alright, so I'll put it back together and see whether it blows up. Right then, the moment of truth. Right, still not doing anything. Let's check. But it seems like it's maybe not completed its loading cycle. Like, these are definitely not in fully loaded position because they're not in these little V blocks. And that feels tight, so it might be this tape. Although why it's not unloading. It's trying to load. Maybe if I unload it manually. It don't feel that tight. It's just like this. I'm not sure. Unless loading belts failing. Which is a possibility. Wondering if this loading belt's a bit slack. Doesn't feel brilliant. That might be what's causing trouble. But no, it's not spinning. That fuse still intact? No. It's blunt fuse. And I've only got one more of these fuses. So rather than blowing it, what I'm going to do is put a wire link in and limit the current on my power supply. Although I mean obviously that's the current for the whole thing, but at least I can control it. So it goes up to about an amp. So if I limit it to like 1.3 or something initially. Right, so it's unloaded now. So I wonder what happened. We're playing now. It's only drawing 450 milliamps. And it gets up to about sort of a bit over an amp when it's you know, when motors are starting up, and then once it's running it settles down at like 0.45. I mean, obviously loading motor's not running now though, is it? But even then, it's like 260 just not doing anything. And I press play, goes up to an amp and rapidly drops back down. But that amp that it's drawing, both of them running, you know, the loading motor starting up and the other one. So if I do it from a dead stop, yeah, it goes up to 0.9. So I disconnect it and see what it's like if just the head drum motor runs. Right, so start it again now. Oh, it's just not having it now. Not making an attempt to load. I see, I put that in and it did try. Let's try it again with it out. Oh, it's doing it now. Maybe it's to do with light getting in. It goes up to like 800 and then sits at 34. I think it's a bit slow, this current reading thing on this power supply, so I don't know. Probably not really to be trusted for things like that, like changing currents. I'll try other fuse, hopefully it'll work, not blow up again. Right, so because I don't want to dismantle it all, just to like put this in and put it back together again, only for it to blow, I'm going to just try putting it in this hole and just see if it runs without blowing. Stop it. Well, I've tried it a few times now and it seems to be working, so maybe that was just a one-off or a duff fuse. So I'll take it apart again, put this fuse in and then see where we are. Right, I put fuse in, so we'll see whether it survives. It's like it's not even there. Now it's instantly blown again. Why is it? It works when I just hold it in there, but then when I solder it in it blows. What's that about? Just doing it to annoy me? I have to see if I've got any other fuses of any kind. I've bodged this 315 milliamp fuse on there, look at that. Let's see what happens. Obviously I can't put it down flat. The fuse aren't blown, but the other one it didn't blow. It weren't until I actually soldered it in that it blew. It gets up to like 1.2 there though when it starts to unload. Right, I've bodged in that other fuse on the top side of the board. Because it's really too big for the footprint, I've put some insulation tape around it to make sure it doesn't short on anything. This is a 315 milliamp slow blow fuse, so we'll switch on the machine and see if it survives. Well, it's running. It's done better than that other one. I think that might be what it is the fact that it's a slow blow one, because that, I mean, the total current, it jumps up to about 1.3 amps. It's a bit strange this, because yesterday, having this just sat, not doing anything, it was drawing like 200 odd milliamps. Now it seems to be drawing 400, so I'm not sure what's going on there, why it's doing that. When I press play, it jumps up to like 1.13 there, but it did to like 130 before. And then when it's running, it's drawing like half an amp. So there's maybe like there's an instantaneous sort of spike of like a lot of current, and that's what we're blowing that other one maybe. Because I'm not sure if that one might have been a quick blow one. Now that it seems to be working in terms of not blowing fuses, let's see if the video and audio work. I've got a tape here, I think it's got some camcorder footage on it. Let's play it back and see what it looks like, and then I'll record something and see if that works. The baseband video and audio are on this DIN connector, and I don't think I've got the cable for that, so I'm going to use the UHF output and just point the camera at the TV rather than capturing the video directly. Right, let's see what it looks like. Well, it's playing. There's a bit of dropout, but I'm not sure what sort of condition this tape's in. It might just be down to the tape. I am having to put the track in quite a long way off centre for it, but the picture looks reasonably alright. Right, let's try making a recording. I'll connect this camera to it, make a recording, play it back, see what it's like. I've got the camera connected now, so I'll switch it on. Camera doesn't seem to be coming on. It's switched on, and this camera does work. So I'm not sure. Check the camera connector with multimeter. Right, on the camera connector, these two here are the power pins. The one closest to this notch is the earth, and that one's the 12 volts. Right, so this is the 0 volts to the earth. That's definitely connected. I'll put it onto voltage test mode and turn the power supply on. So there's nothing coming through there. I wouldn't have thought it'd be the case, but possibly you need it in record mode. I'll try that. Now there's still no nothing. I'm going to have to see how this is connected and whether there's a fuse somewhere. Right, I've had a look in the service manual at the board layout and I've followed where it goes. It comes from this connector here, the power, but there's a bit of damage to the board here, so it's alright there. You see there's that breaking trace. I think this next one's alright. I believe that one is, don't look too damaged. So I'll repair this and then we'll try it again. I've repaired that bit of board, you can see there. This is a camera connector. Right, so now that breaking trace has been repaired, let's try it again. Switch it on. That camera's come on. Reasonable picture. That pattern of stripes isn't visible on the actual TV. I'll press record and play. I think it's in pause mode. Lights on so I can get a better picture. Back focus needs adjusting on this camera. I'm going to stop it and start it a couple of times. It winds back a little bit when you put it in stop mode or pause. Right. Let's play it back. I'm wondering why it's not recorded sound, but it's because I didn't have YF microphone in. Picture looks pretty good though. And them dropouts aren't as bad as what they were at the start of the tape. I think it might just be tape. Do another recording with microphone plugged in just to see what it sounds like. This is a recording just to test the sound. Should be able to hear me speaking. I'll play it back and see how it's come out. Be able to hear me speaking. I'll play it back and see how it's come out. Right, well, I'm happy with that. Obviously that fuse I put in isn't the correct part, so I'll see if I can get one of those circuit protectors, but if not, I think it should be okay as it is. All that remains now is to put it back together. Right, well, that's that back together. I've got some batteries for this, but they're all dead, so I might look into opening one up and replacing cells at some point, but that'd be for a future video if I decide to do it. I've also got another one of these machines. It's the Ferguson version. That one doesn't switch on at all, so that might be a good one to have a look at in another video. That one actually came as part of the set with the GZS3 camera and the frame for putting them together, so it'd be good to get them both working. The camera doesn't work either, and I've never managed to get hold of a service manual for it. If anyone's got a PDF of the JVC GZS3 service manual, please let me know, I will be very grateful. Anyway, that's that for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again, and goodbye.